rare, not rare.
I think that actually makes sense.
Yeah,
Isn't that what I had said? I
think so.
1800 podcasts ago.
Rare.
I
This
sound
is
like an
why
automatic.
people watch. This is what we've devolved.
This is why
It
you
sounds like an automatic can opener. Rare. Okay. Well, that's what I had said.
yeah,
Was rare.
We broke his brain.
Quentin here. I'm fine, babe.
This is Ethan. I'm gonna go. Don't worry, Devin's here. This is time. Let's rock and roll!
Welcome to Power Up Brothers Podcast, where we all sound the same and our points don't matter. I'm happy this time.
Hey. You're rotating through all of the dwarves.
Yeah, I did the intro right.
Yeah, you did.
You did the intro correctly.
Maybe for the first time.
My first time.
Maybe for the first time.
My very first time.
You took your anti-mushmouth pills today.
You did.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Quinn, I say you're looking dapper today.
Thank you very much.
You look like a character out of the Phoenix Wright series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. I was thinking that actually identically to what you just said.
I agree. I would like to put a little rider onto the end of that. Is that you look like the only character who understands law from the Phoenix Wright. Like you were tormented because you actually have read.
You look like the guy who is who's defending a serial killer, and you know it, and it's killing you a little bit inside, but you can't afford to show it because you have to provide a vigorous defense for your client because you believe in the law.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
That's exactly what
much like Riker in The Measure of a Man.
Correct.
Now he understands.
Mm-hmm. I now understand the metaphor.
Now he understands.
I was zoned out for the last 5 minutes.
That's how you get Quentin to understand Star Trek. Put it in Star Trek, and Quentin will understand what it is.
Yeah,
he'll get
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Well, here under protest, we're talking about video games.
That's
I know.
Right,
yeah, you're
back.
You're
I'm
forced
dressed to talk about philosophy and religion and world politics.
Video games
and
comment on all of those things.
And the law, of course, and breaking it. But I'm...
right. Video games talk about all of those things.
They do.
And Metal Gear Solid talks about all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Same time.
Yeah.
In fact, a normal Metal Gear Solid sentence would be philosophy, religion, world politics, law breaking.
Yeah, that's just
And to be clear, there would be a question mark at the end of that sentence.
There'd be several question marks in the middle of that sentence.
I'm gonna give you guys, the audience and you guys, a tease that a game I've been working on for a long time.
He's teasing us.
It's I can't decide what I'm gonna call it. It's either guess the history quote, or I'm gonna call it Metal Gear question mark.
That's a better name.
Okay.
It's you have a choice between 3 options. 2 of them are historical quotes, like actual quotes from historical people, but one is a quote from Metal Gear Solid.
I love that.
That is good.
I guarantee you're not going to be able to find the Metal Gear Solid
Quinn's going to know.
I was about to say there's a good chance.
Played a lot of Metal Gear.
I don't know.
Then again,
I don't know.
Then again,
it is wild.
Some of them are just layups, and it's easy. You know that it's from Metal Gear.
To lure you into a false sense of security.
You into a sense of false. But some of them I grabbed, and I was like, this literally could be like Machiavelli or somebody.
Let's just say
I'm going to put it next to Machiavelli so you can't tell.
Or hit you with a Mei Ling quote and be like, is this Confucius or is this Mei Ling? Because what you don't understand
it's
is...
racist either way.
No, the thing is that Mei Ling, you'll see a quote from Mei Ling, and it'll be like, a house with 4 walls must also have a roof, right? And you're like, wait, that must be Confucius.
No.
And the quote is, a house with 4 walls must also have a roof, period. Make sure to save often. So,
and it's from
Confucius.
Yeah,
that's the crazy part.
That's wild.
You have to save a lot.
I'm also just going to say, Solidus Snake and Margaret Thatcher do sometimes talk
basically
very similar.
Child soldiers. This is defamation against Solidus Snake's character to compare him to Margaret Thatcher. Listen, one of those people put on a multi-armed mech suit and terrorized the world. Okay, and the other Solidus Snake.
Yeah, we saw it.
Right?
There it was.
Solidus Snake is a hero.
You
should have said one of them is a genetically engineered monster that gives me nightmares, and the other was played by David Hayter.
There you go.
No, he didn't.
Did not play.
Ty had the better.
So she has the quote, there is no such thing as community. There are only people and families. That is just Solidus Snake trying to convince Raiden to kill people for him. Right? He said that to him when he kidnapped him.
Although I do feel like Solidus Snake would be like, there's no such thing as people, Jack. There's just communities.
Right.
Yeah,
families. Yeah.
They're the same person.
Yeah.
They based it off of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the reverse.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of what she said.
No, I know, but that sounds like a line he would say.
No, that is exactly what she said. There's no such thing as community.
No, he would say the opposite, though. He would say people, family. He would say people. There's no such thing as people, Jack. There's only the community. That's his thing.
He would say
he's very dehumanizing.
He's anti-Thatcher. That's what it is.
You know what?
So Thatcher would have said that if she thought it would get her.
Fair,
right? Right.
So before we move into what we've been playing, I'm just gonna say I called it.
You called it.
You did call it.
Xbox has raised their prices of just their Xbox Series.
They've
games.
announced it.
They didn't even wait for the next console.
No.
They're just like, they're going to be $80.
I was so convinced they were going to at least hold off till the next console, but we're not getting a next console because this console is too expensive to afford.
Because that is an Xbox.
That's an Xbox?
That's an Xbox. And that's an Xbox.
And that's an Xbox.
Yeah. I'm an Xbox.
An Xbox. It's crazy how Nintendo could get so much bad publicity from the price of their Switch 2, and then everyone else make them look squeaky clean in the coming weeks.
I feel like this is, but here's the thing: this isn't the. We had a Nintendo Direct and we discussed economics and we mentioned the tariffs kind of announcement.
No.
This is Phil Spencer left a sticky note on the fridge that says, "Out of money for hot dogs.
Raise Xbox prices."
Yeah. And the console went up as well.
Console went up $100.
All of them across the board.
Thank God I haven't bought one. And don't.
Yeah, here's my thing about the whole video game inflation thing. Is that it doesn't impact me at all. And the things which don't impact me, regardless of whether they hurt the human community, are not.
I would argue they do impact you at all because eggs directly correlate to the price of Xbox.
Eggs are a problem. Yeah, that's true. I haven't bought an egg.
Wait till your egg goes up $100. Because that's next.
That's next. Yeah, stock.
All right, guys. Hey, Ethan.
Stock up on Xboxes.
Ethan,
you need them.
What you been playing?
No.
And family.
Guys, we're going to talk about what we've been playing.
Welcome to the Clean Energy Podcast.
I've been playing the Clean Energy game.
Yeah. The only podcast where only 3 people on it want to talk about video games, and the other one is dressed like a lawyer. That's what's going on.
He wants to talk about tort reform.
Yes, I do.
Tort reform.
Correct.
Ty's just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Guys, what you been playing? Ethan, you go first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I have been playing Enshrouded.
Oh,
yeah.
They are about to release their big update. They just showed off the lighting engine changes, and they look insane. They look so good. But picked it up and decided to clear out all the quests that I'd kind of been waiting around on.
Yeah.
And it is incredible. I the new area that I'd skip this one area because they kind of inserted it into the levels in between the original end game to kind of like pad it out a little more. And so I kind of avoided that area, and then I went there and it's so well designed and it looks super good and cool. I had been switching around some of the difficulty settings as well, and I'm always blown away with how good the difficulty settings in that game are.
Cool.
Yeah. Lots of options.
Yeah, so many options, so much customization from like enemy stamina, how perceptive the enemies are, how many of them there are, and like how frequently do individual enemies attack, and do they attack in groups? And you can set all of that in your difficulty settings. And so it was like, me and Ty had, played it enough to be pretty good at it, and so we just set the difficulty sliders all the way up to max, and had a lot of fun. Been having a whole lot of fun, getting absolutely destroyed every time we go up against a boss.
Yeah, I had a lot of that round that we played where I'm glad it finally works on my Steam Deck. The combat is surprisingly in depth for a survival craft.
I think as survival crafters go, it has my favorite combat system.
Yeah, I do still really like the Tribes of Midgar has a pretty fun combat system, but it's a little bit like a top-down game, so it's kind of
V Rising is very similar to Tribes.
V-Rising.
That's the one everybody says has the best.
Is V Rising?
Is V Rising?
Yeah,
but I've yet to play
Hades.
It's Hades. Hades is incredible.
Yeah, and Hades is just
Bastion.
Yeah. I was gonna say Bishop. I was like, it's not Bishop.
And Bastion's just Gauntlet.
Actually, you're not far off. You're not far off.
It all goes all the way down.
Yeah, Gauntlet. The blue elf shot the food.
It's just medieval warfare.
It's true. It's true.
I don't think that's right.
And medieval warfare is really just Stone Age, tribal violence.
Stone Age tribal violence is really just mitochondria fighting on single-celled organisms.
You really had an opportunity to say Cain and Abel before we got to the,
but I wanted to cut it off because I don't want to keep this thing going.
Yeah, that's fair.
You wanted to end it.
I don't want to keep any of this going.
Yeah.
All right.
I've been playing. I got back into what maybe is
you're gonna shock us
forever game.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves.
Oh,
I did actually shock you guys.
Or I guess it's just rare now.
Take that.
They
insisted always was. They were like rareware. It was like
they're wrong.
No, I was like, I don't know.
What does that mean? What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Are you trying to rewrite history?
Not correct.
The game still exists.
Yeah, I was gonna say
they're on
NSO. It's rareware.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been playing Sea of Thieves. They're in season 15.
I'm sorry. Before you continue, I just want to restate something that I had said because you brought up rare.
Right.
Remember, rareware, rare, not rare.
I think that actually makes sense.
Yeah,
what he's saying.
Isn't that what I had said? Like 1800 podcasts ago. Rare.
This is why people watch.
This is what we've devolved.
This is why you
sounds like an automatic can opener. Rare. Okay. Well, that's what I had said. Was rare.
We broke his brain.
Rare, not rare.
There you go. You did it. Good job.
Rare beware.
Rare beware.
And rare beware because I'm coming with raw eggs. I spent $1,000 and I bought four eggs.
Half a dozen eggs.
I bought 4 eggs and I'm on my way to England. Isn't that where they're at?
England,
I'm going to England.
Yeah.
To be real careful
or something.
It's going to take me a while because I don't want to drop it.
The Ryanair flight ticket cost $12 for those eggs. I had to file for, Chapter 11.
You probably could have bought them cheaper if you just got them in England.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you should have.
Anyway, so you've been playing Sea of Thieves.
I have. It's the Wild Things update. Pretty cool.
Where the Wild Things are?
That's a weird crossover.
That little kid's book?
So if you know anything about Sea of Thieves, there's the 3 factions.
Yeah.
Then they introduce the Reaper's Bones.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's a faction based around the idea of like hunting other ships down.
Yeah.
But throughout the entire game, there was a little group called the Hunter's Call that you would sell your fish to, and like as someone who ends up playing a lot of Sea of Thieves single player, like by my lonesome, because my brothers.
You get no sympathy from me.
You're the worst.
You left and ghosted me. You and your wife did just days ago.
Single worst texter on the planet.
Yeah. I really shouldn't go into the realm of like you guys don't talk to me.
Right.
Yeah. No, but anyways, because of my horrible brothers, I spend a lot of the game alone. No, but I did a lot of the Hunter's Call missions because they're really chill. Like you can just can just chill.
I've done a bunch of those too. I used to just like fish on Sea of Thieves.
So they in this update they've made them a proper group now. You can take quests. Critically, you can hunt a bunch of cool different megalodons. There's like a fire one, a coral one, an ice one that freezes the water as it comes to you. You can actually stand on the frozen. It's cool.
That's pretty cool.
It's cool.
I think the emergent gameplay of Sea of Thieves has always been like its strongest suit.
It's cool to have a game that gets like regular updates like an MMO, but it's an arcade game. There's nothing there's no level ups. You don't like, it's not like, oh, I've really worked on this character and now he's like super powerful.
Very pick up and play.
Your character is the same, can do all the same things. The toolkit's there.
I think one of the reasons that I also go back to Sea of Thieves kind of without any like friction is that there's like really no FOMO No, just kind of like once they add something to the game, it's just
I don't think they've ever removed anything.
I don't think so.
I think you can even play the Pirates of the Caribbean crossover stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Monkey Island and Pirates of the Caribbean.
We need to finish that.
We do. And we should start the Monkey Island one.
Yeah, we should.
Really
no, FOMO, and that's fight orangutans, murder orangutans.
Yeah. It doesn't have any of that.
That's it.
I don't know why.
It doesn't have any fighting orangutans.
Cool game.
Yeah,
Some kind of palm oil simulator.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
FOMO is popular in
Indonesia.
Don't say it.
in games from Gotcha games.
Oh, good. Okay,
it's very popular in Gotcha games. There's a lot of FOMO, MMOs. Yeah, and this is why everyone who plays those games is an orangutan murderer.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country, the original.
They're very unpopular in Sumatra due to the large population of orangutan gamers.
Yes, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anywho, no, they also added these little boars that are like guard treasure, and you have to hunt for them. It's cool.
Yeah,
and cool. I'm going for the anytime you go down a certain quest line, there's usually like a curse at the end of it. That like changes the physical appearance of your character.
Oh, okay.
And Sea of Thieves is similar to Monster Hunter in the sense that your character becomes a monument to your accomplishments. Just when other players see you, it's obvious like what you've done in the game. You're wearing like a Rathalos armor.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, he hunted Rathalos. He had to get that armor.
Crazy they put Rathalos in Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, actually, that would be dope. No, but that's what Sea of Thieves is. So usually if you have a curse of something, it means that you did like everything in that.
You're collecting curses.
Yeah, you're collecting curses.
I do also like, one of the things I like about Sea of Thieves that, I mean, is not intentional, but it feels very on point.
Yeah.
Is that they've had a lot of different updates that basically like change the economy of time you spend in it, right? Like how things work, and sometimes players have been like unhappy with like certain changes. I remember when like the Reapers were first introduced, they were like a little overpowered, and so they were kind of just tracking you down everywhere and blowing your ships up. And I kind of like that that big things shifting and changing in the meta puts players at different, like, puts pressure on players in different ways, because it feels very in theme for big world changes to make you a less happy pirate.
Right.
I do kind of like that. There's something I like about that, is that like, hey, I don't like that I can't sail around anymore because there's all these guys shooting me. And it's like,
welcome to the Caribbean.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
My favorite update that they added was that you could bury treasure. And so one time I got this really rare these like really rare items from the Sunken Kingdom.
Yeah.
And I had 3 of them because I was being a goof, and I wasn't getting one, going and selling it, getting another. I just got 3 of them. And we're talking like 4 hours of work. And and someone could just come along and take them. And sure enough, I'm on my way back to sell them to one of the outposts. And a Reaper, a big galleon Reaper, catches sight of me and starts coming after me. And I was like, oh no. And so I tried to outrun him, but I couldn't. And I realized that I couldn't. So I just grabbed my chest and then pointed my ship with the wind and then just hopped off near an island and swam over there. And then I buried it on that island. Oh. And then I went and, like, after they sunk my ship, checked it, nothing on it. My ship respawns, and then I just sailed back to that island, dug my treasure back up, and then went and sold it.
That's very clever. I like that a lot.
So that's the thing, is that like it does kind of suck if you're like by yourself and like there's a big bad Reaper there and he like takes all your stuff. But if you're clever enough, you can still actually hang on. It's literally like it's the best pirate simulator game ever.
Yeah,
which is crazy because it started off as one of the most simple.
Yeah,
like we played Sea of Thieves when it first came out,
when it launched. Yeah,
which is crazy. It's let's see, how old is it?
15 years old.
Nope,
15 seasons.
Not quite that. No, it's 20. It's 7 years old. 2018.
Yeah, they do 2 seasons a year.
28 years.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. Yeah,
it's a long time.
Quinn, what have you been playing?
What have you been playing?
Video games.
Video games.
I know you've been playing
PC
something.
gaming.
Yeah.
Graphics drivers.
Right.
You sound like a Nintendo Direct right now.
Driving to meet a guy you like.
Okay.
He's a gamer. He finds out you're on a gaming podcast.
Right.
Oh no. He thinks you like gaming.
Yep.
That ever happened to you girls? Never happened to me.
This is gonna.
Okay.
I really
but
like
if it did,
Quentin's
it would be
not looking into the camera anymore.
If it
He's
did,
looking. At
the
himself
viewfinder.
He's looking at the viewfinder.
If
Yeah.
that happens to you, ladies, you should be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I would be horribly ashamed.
No women watch this podcast.
Yeah.
What?
Who are you addressing?
You're talking to my wife. That's
Yeah.
it.
Gay men,
She doesn't watch.
you should be embarrassed if that happens to you.
We have a
Do you have any of
pretty
those?
strong gay man.
Do you have any of those?
I don't really
I don't know.
honestly.
If you do, I haven't seen the demographics.
YouTube doesn't tell us.
Ever since we got rid of Rachel.
The point is that you all should be
That's all
embarrassed
there,
if that
yeah.
happens to you, because
Yeah,
that's the worst case scenario.
Pretty bad.
So this is your long-winded.
This is what you've
way of
been
saying
playing?
You haven't been playing anything.
No, I'm not finished.
I know he's been playing
right.
stuff because my Steam
Yep.
comes up and tells me.
Yep.
Oh,
I have. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
That would be embarrassing. Thankfully, it didn't happen, and I don't want to talk about it. Don't bring it up again.
Why would you? I'm sorry.
Don't bring it up again.
I'm sorry.
I don't know how it got brought up.
Don't you bring it up either.
How did it get brought up?
I would never bring it up.
Roll it back.
Thank you. Ty's the only one I can trust around here not to bring up sore subjects that are embarrassing and shameful
Right.
that I want to keep a complete secret.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
Good job.
No, I'm not going to say that.
Here's
Good
the
job.
thing. I've been reading the Book of Joy by the Dalai Lama and the Archbishop Desmond
Right.
Tutu.
Great.
The two of
Thanks
them.
for coming on this video game podcast.
Let me excuse me.
They have the high score at Pong.
Oh,
Exactly.
right.
Famously,
I
the
forgot.
Dalai Lama was the first to get the game over screen in Pac-Man.
The
That's
Dalai
right.
Lama.
Yeah, he got the crash screen.
The Dalai
That's right.
Lama can choose when to stop reincarnating.
Yeah.
If he continues infinitely, he has infinite time in his enlightened state to become a better Donkey Kong player than Billy Mitchell.
Okay.
He's a gamer.
Right.
Desmond Tutu opposed apartheid, which means that he did something useful with his life, and I oppose gaming, which is also useful. We are the same. Okay?
You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here first.
Me and civil rights
This
activist and
strange
Archbishop
white man.
Desmond Tutu
Right.
are the same.
They're the
Yeah.
same. Yeah, you're the
We
same.
are the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Invictus.
Okay. You keep saying that. Manifest it. Let's see if it can finally become true.
So, here's the thing.
Okay, go for it. I would love to hear the thing. I would love to hear it today.
I've played
Yeah.
a little bit of video games
Okay.
this week.
Wait. Could you ramble for another minute or so before you get to video games?
You got it, Chief.
Thanks.
All right?
I appreciate it.
Problem with these video games I've been playing,
Okay.
right, is that they're on my computer.
Right.
And a computer, there's important things to do,
Okay.
like watch the Golden Girls.
It is
So
important.
I said,
Great.
what am I supposed to do? How can I watch the Golden Girls, right,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and also play a game? Okay?
You have a Steam Deck.
That's a
You
good
have
point.
a
Why didn't
second
I
monitor.
think about that? I spent the whole week just like sitting in front of a blank screen trying to
Don't
figure
you have
out
an OLED
whether.
Steam Deck?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
Didn't even think of. You're literally right. I didn't even think of that. It's sitting under my bed.
OLED TV, OLED Steam Deck.
I've sat in front of a blank screen for several hours.
Wow.
With a book in hand because I was going like, this is too stressful to pick the Golden Girls over it, because if I betray B. Arthur and her ghost comes to me in the night,
Right.
okay, she was a Marine.
She was.
Yeah.
If anybody can kill me, it'd be her.
Anybody.
I think it's
Let's be
anybody.
clear. Anybody can kill you.
Anybody can.
Literally anybody
with
off the
relative
street.
ease, but
Yeah.
the point is that I wrestle with this, and it's been a
Right.
great struggle.
Okay.
B. Arthur's ghost.
Yeah, we wrestle sometimes.
Yeah.
I
Sounds
broke
hot.
my hip trying to get a blessing, some kind of
From B. Arthur.
from B. Arthur.
okay.
The point is that it was great stress, but finally I worked out a solution wherein I watched the Golden Girls on my phone and I played a video game for as long as I could live to survive playing a video game until I switched to just watching the Golden Girls.
Gotcha.
see.
And this video game was.
This makes me a gamer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
You
technically.
played a video game.
That and your hatred of women.
Yeah.
These two things make me a gamer.
Right.
So I played a little bit of a classic Star Wars game.
Yeah.
Because I've seen Star Wars in the news recently, and
Yep.
I felt sad. Right.
Celebration, I think, is going on.
Right.
Or went on.
That's not what I'm talking about. I saw that there was a re-release of the Star Wars.
Oh,
one of the
true.
Star
Yeah,
Wars
yeah.
prequels, right?
Episode 3 got a re-release.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so I heard about that, and I was like, I should play a Star Wars game that's good. So I played a little bit. I've played a little bit of Empire at War.
Oh yeah.
I'm playing
cool.
a mod of that, and I played that a little bit, and I was miserable the whole time. It was horrible.
You didn't like it?
It's one of those things.
The game was fun. He's just always.
He's just always miserable.
No, the game. The thing is that I'm playing a mod that makes the game significantly more complicated, and wrapping your head around that is a horrible, miserable process.
Yeah, true.
And it'll never pay off. It's a metaphor.
It's like anybody who plays
it's a metaphor
Stellaris.
for life and gaming. And so there you go.
What'd you say, Ty?
So it's like anybody who plays Stellaris. Self-inflicted pain.
Yeah. That is actually.
I'm pretty sure that's a medication. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, isn't that an injectable medication?
That you're thinking of Stellara. Oh, but Stellaris is a video game, and if you get the two confused, you're in for a bad time.
I once injected Stellaris into my abdomen, and
That's
it
really
made me a
bad.
gamer.
It's really bad.
And you're a gamer.
Quinn, that brings up an interesting question. Have you ever played the game Sins of the Solar Empire?
I have.
It's a good game.
I had a Star Trek mod for Sins of the Solar Empire. That was
really liked the Star Trek mod for that game.
Yeah, I wish I had played that more, because when I was a kid, I played Empire at War pretty heavily, and I didn't actually play Sins of the Solar Empire very much. I pretty much bought
There's a second one now.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. I pretty much
Does it have Star Trek mods?
Oh, yeah.
Star Trek mod is great.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
Star Trek Armada 4
I played a game called Orion Pirates.
That was a Star Trek game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's as close to a strategy game I ever got with Star Trek.
Yeah, I mean, it had a strategy mode or something in it.
You can command like multiple ships.
You click on.
Or no, you can't.
That's Dominion
No,
War.
you click on little
Dominion
hexes
War.
and move around though.
Yeah.
No, you just fly around.
No, on Orion Pirates, the galaxy map is the little
The
hexagons.
galaxy map is. But when
remember
you're
that.
fighting a ship, you like click.
Maybe we
mouse
play
controls.
it. Maybe we'll play it in the future.
Ty, what have you played?
Yeah. tell us.
I've gotten into it. I've realized that I'm in a bit of a repetitious cycle.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I started a new job, and anytime you start a new job, your other hobbies either fade away or the ones that don't kind of enter a holding pattern, because you have a little less time to devote to them. And so I've been playing largely the same games that I've been talking about playing the last couple of weeks. I've obviously been playing some more Enshrouded with Ethan.
Yep. Same here.
I've been playing the Dune Awakening beta in my mind, in my dreams. Because they haven't invited me yet.
Oh, that sucks.
Even though I'm on a hugely successful video game podcast.
Sure. So you're on 2?
Right.
Yeah.
You're on a second.
Can you invite us to that one, please?
Why don't you let us on?
I'm on the Easy Allies podcast. You guys didn't know that?
I don't even know
crazy,
what that is.
Isn't it?
So wait a minute. Is it possible? Is it possible? Is it possible?
No.
Yeah.
It's not.
Right. Is it possible? If you're watching this
Can't
right
be.
now, I'm going to be at PAX this year. PAX East.
You are going to be at
Does that mean that I'm going to get to play Dune Awakening before you? Probably?
Almost certainly. They are having a beta weekend.
Okay. This
next weekend, I think, or the weekend after. So maybe I'll get an invite to that.
Will Dune Awakening be as boring as every Dune movie ever made?
It will be, but those movies are incredible. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them.
So, that's a good sign.
I have a friend that I just recently learned is like a big Dune fan, like a
Dune.
And they're not your friend anymore.
And then I was like, I can't be around you.
So sorry, I'm only interested in gaming.
He'll also be at PAX, and he's very excited.
Oh, nice.
To play Dune Awakening.
It looks good. Everybody's saying that the big problem that cropped up early on, which was that the combat isn't fun, has been mostly fixed.
Oh, okay.
They're saying it's much better, and they're continuing to improve it.
Here's the thing with Dune. I don't care about the game.
I know
I don't care about the gameplay.
Right.
I don't even care whether the main character is a little twinkish man or not. I don't care.
It can be if you want.
I don't care.
Mine's a cowboy.
And I didn't ask.
I think that's a Chalamet reference.
I didn't ask or care.
Okay.
First
what I care about
there's a care about. I thought you were just listing things you didn't care.
Yeah.
No, there is one thing I care about.
What a surprise. Go on.
Is there more than one color of sand?
There are many colors of sand.
There's many colors
in this
of sand?
game. They do a good job of differentiating the environments.
They got tan sand.
Yeah.
They got khaki sand.
Khaki sand.
They got
dark brown sand.
Well, there's something called drum sand, and it's a different color. So if you run on the drum sand, it makes a noise, and that's bad on a planet with giant.
So there's multicolored sand. Is the point?
There's lots of colors of sand.
It doesn't look like an incredibly boring and just the worst backdrop you could possibly have in a sci-fi film. It doesn't just look like an empty space with nothing interesting on it for literally 3 hours. While a twink monologues and has dreams about Zendaya.
Quentin's getting his grievances.
Does that happen?
The recent,
You're saying it's not that?
It's I mean it might be that, but it's that, but with multicolor sand.
Hey, okay.
So if you pass out at the title screen where it says press start and you've just been watching Spider-Man, you might have that same experience.
You might have that same experience.
Yeah. So. I'm excited to go to PAX.
We're excited.
That's great.
Yeah.
We're excited for you to be gone. How long are you going to be gone?
I'll be back.
How long are you going to be gone? In other words, how many Fridays do we have free?
None. 0.
In fact, we have to talk to you about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after the podcast, buddy boy. No, I'm
actually, we do get a Friday free.
I also like the fact that I'm not. That I haven't played Elden Ring at all, but I will play Elden Ring Night Rain before any of you.
I think it's going to be interesting that you play Elden Ring Night Rain before you played Elden Ring.
Yeah, that's going to be funny.
Okay.
Maybe that will be the thing that gets you into Elden Ring.
Have you considered that he will like Night Rain and not like Elden Ring?
It's very possible.
Yeah, I don't even know what the game. I want to go into Night Rain completely blind. I've seen the trailer and it just looked like Elden Ring. Yeah. So I'm just going to go play it. And I'm going to judge the original Elden Ring off of Night Rain.
Oh, perfect.
And then give my review of Elden Ring.
I love it.
Based on the demo I played of Night Rain at PAX.
I think,
how about that?
See, I think, brilliant. You know what's that called when two words, they sound the same but have different meanings?
I don't know.
You know what that's called?
I know it's a thing, but my
brain a palindrome.
No.
Sure.
Isn't it sad that the word palindrome doesn't read back?
This is a side tangent. Ethan, look up what that word is. Anyways, the point is that I think that it should be called night, rain, rain.
Night, rain, rain.
Night, rain. But
like,
it should be night
to night.
Right.
Nighttime.
Yes.
Rain like it's falling, and then the rain. Of.
Oh no, sorry. Empire. It should be night, rain,
Homophobes?
Rain.
Homophones.
Homophones.
Yes.
Homophobes.
Listen, I've been a homophone my entire life.
I knew it.
Right? A self-deprecating homophone. A self-hating homophone.
A homophone.
I'm homophonic.
Maybe they would say homophone.
The point.
Like homonym.
This is not the point. The point is that it should be called night, rain, rain. Okay?
Rain like rains on a horse.
Nighttime. Reigns of a horse, the reign of a king, and the rain from the heavens.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I don't like that they didn't think of that and chose it.
Right.
And that makes me not want to play it.
Okay. Well, good thing you're not going to PAX.
Thank God you're not going to PAX.
I didn't.
What a nightmare that would be.
Can you imagine if I was the one going to PAX?
How disappointed are you? I mean, like, theoretically it could happen, but it's not happening. How disappointed are you that there will be no Switch 2 at PAX?
Honestly, when I got these tickets a while ago, and I had no expectation of it. So when they revealed the Switch 2, I was like, it'd be cool if it comes to PAX. Pokemon's going to be there.
Yeah.
So that it is possible.
Is that a Switch?
Are you even
Switch 1 game?
It's Switch.
Yeah, it's going to be. I assume it's going to be Pokemon ZA.
Well, and also Devin is one of the 8 million people that got a Switch 2, and it will be here in no time. So it's not like you're going to have to wait a long time.
It's not like you have to wait a long time.
It's kind of crazy for me to think that that when I get back from PAX, we'll be like 3 weeks away from the Switch 2. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I like how you said Devin's one of the 8 million. Everyone in this room is one of the 8 million.
Well, I know, but you're going to PAX.
I see what you're saying.
There's not going to be a Switch 2 there, but it's like in 3 weeks
I'm
you'll have it.
4 of the 8 million.
Actually, because it's so close to the launch, some people do think that maybe it'll be at least on display for people to see. Maybe you can't play it.
You could smell it.
You can like sniff it.
Lick the glass.
And I will wait I don't know about that one. I will wait in line for 8 hours to just go past the Switch 2 for just a moment.
You might have a problem.
That like my face will be glowing.
You might have a problem.
They're gonna have to cover you up.
Yeah. Lampshade.
All the Mario fans will be in terror at the sight of
which
you.
I know everyone's dying to hear this. Everyone across the many tens and tens of people that watch this podcast are dying to hear it. I have a Mario Kart update for you guys.
How far along are you?
You guys called me out.
I did.
Called me out, and I was like, they're right.
You're a poser.
They're right.
Yeah, you're a poser and a fraud and a hack. And a hack fraud poser.
And we hate you.
I am.
And I never liked you.
I never liked you.
Okay?
This podcast, we make fun of you
get out of
when
here.
you're not
All
here.
right, you're done.
We just make fun of you
buddy.
the whole time.
All right? Get out of your house.
And now no one will ever see it because
Mom pays us to do this.
Yeah,
because she says you need friends.
Knock me down. I thought she paid you to bully me.
No, she pays you just to be here.
Oh, great.
Because she says you need friends.
Dad pays us to bully
Thank
you.
you, Mom.
Dad
She
pays us to bully
She had to
you.
pay us.
Mom pays us
She had
to
to
be
pay us
around.
almost half as much as she paid Rachel to marry you.
Yeah.
Wow,
I mean,
okay,
it was
thank
a
you.
lot.
It was a lot.
And Grandma just pays me to steal your stuff.
You look so proud of yourself.
You did.
I
You look really
am very proud.
No,
of myself.
so anyways, I paused Mario Kart Wii because I skipped DS and now I'm going back to DS.
Good.
Nice.
Mario Kart DS.
There is
DS.
like
The
an
hit game on the
evolution
shelf.
to them you kind of miss if you jump ahead a little
and
How are
bit.
they gonna play
what I
the
realized
arcade
was that I was sort of discriminating against the I do have a way to do that against.
Please tell me what you're discriminating against quick.
Do
Holy
it
Lord.
handheld?
Do it.
No, against the handheld games.
Oh.
Against the handheld games.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I don't know why anyone was nervous.
I don't know. I was just talking about how I'm a self-hating homophone.
I was trying to solve
figured it was
the
going in that
handheld
direction.
problem.
I think I might know why
glad
our
Quin talked over
podcast
that.
isn't growing that fast.
No, but what I realized is Nintendo doesn't care. Like for Nintendo, each Mario Kart is treated because, and it hit me after Wii, I was going to go to Mario Kart 7, and I was like, oh, they counted it as the 7th Mario Kart game, which means that all the portable ones were mainline. So I went back, and I had already gone through Super Circuit on the GBA. Weakest Mario Kart. I'm sorry if you're a big Super Circuit fan. It's just not. It's like
not a Super Circuit fan.
It's like my least favorite Mario Kart before this was Super, just because old, like jankiness, and you move the stage beneath them,
and it's like eye strain. That game
Mode
is
7
kind
is
of hard
rough.
to look at,
especially because like it's half the screen. It's not the whole.
Oh yeah, the half the screen is the
Super Circuit.
Yeah, that is weird.
map.
Super Circuit
Didn't
has
even think of that.
the whole screen and everything. The graphics are better. It's just that it's like it doesn't have that charm of like being the first one.
You're right.
It came after 64,
right.
and it's so much like worse.
Yeah.
So it was fine. Like I had fun with it. It's a Mario Kart game. I'm sure if I was a little kid playing it on my GBA, linked up with my friends, it would have been awesome. But for me, that was DS.
I mean, how many games are just moments in time? You know, where it's like there's certain games where it's just like, you know, if I went back in time and forgot my first experience playing it, and I had a community of people also playing it, that would be one thing. But then you look at it now, and you're just like, oh.
Do you feel
it's like looking at your hometown where you're like, oh, I grew up here. Look how small and ugly it is, right? But you may have had great fondness for that at the time.
Iterative games get hit with that really hard. I think when you go back to games that are more like the mainline Mario games that have their own identity, separate from each other, you can go back and appreciate something,
because you're always going to compare
like
games
Smash Bros. Like other than Melee is kind of like that for people, like where they go and they play one, and it's like, well,
and why am I
not playing Ultimate?
Right.
Yeah, and I will say with Smash Brothers, maybe it's just because I was more into Smash Brothers, but I felt like I maintained a fondness for older Smash Brothers.
A fondness for sure.
In the sense that, like, if someone said, "Do you want to play Melee?" I'd be okay with it. If someone said, "Do you want to play the original?" I'd be ecstatic. You know, because I loved the original.
Well, I want to play the original on Nintendo Switch Online, where it's totally available and not been excluded for some reason.
Isn't that weird?
Some weird
on there,
inexplicable reason.
No, but I will say that with Smash Brothers, growing up, we played the original.
Yep.
And then when we moved on to Melee,
I think we actually got Melee first.
I don't really remember.
Pretty sure we
I don't
did.
think so. Timeline wise, if I remember when we got Smash Brothers, it was before the GameCube, because we were in Virginia. We were in Virginia visiting, and we were playing the original Smash Brothers. But it wasn't long.
It wasn't long.
I have no memories before the age of 22. So there's no chance that I would.
So yeah, that's why you don't like video games.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. That coma was rough.
It was rough,
right? And it was caused by video games.
I actually have a Mario Kart question for you. Have you seen that there's a lot of like YouTubers right now who are combing through Mario Kart World's footage?
Yep.
And trying to figure out the meta of it, and a lot of them are pretty unhappy with what they're seeing.
Okay.
So that's a good question. What is that your question? Go.
I'm confused. I didn't think like they saw someone like get it like they saw like lightning no longer affects people behind you.
Yeah, right.
And then they saw like someone get an item box and the item pop out of it, and then they calculate where they were at in the line. Yeah. I was under the impression, I mean, I couldn't tell. I was like, is this the final version of the game, or is this how the items are going to be?
No, it's definitely the final version. With the game being like 3 weeks away.
Close. Yeah.
But the thing I'll say is that like the Mario Kart community is definitely split. There's a YouTuber I really like called JP Givener. He's the one.
Oh, yeah, I remember you mentioned
Keep on giving her, bud. That guy.
Yeah, you mentioned him like 7 podcasts.
Yeah, a while back. He's really excited about it, and he has more of the level head that he's like. He keeps showing footage. He's like, guys, this was vanilla Mario Kart 8, and he's showing like the very sort of like 100cc drift, like a really heavy bank. It looks boring to a Mario Kart veteran. He's like, but this is what it looks like now, and it's people like turning on motion control really quick and like doing these crazy maneuvers. He's like, World already has like in the actual direct has all these crazy stunts that just the early developers are doing. Yeah, there's a scene where like Birdo goes jumps off of a side, goes across a sidewall, does a crazy trick back up onto a grinding rail, and then jumps off. Like then they a lot of the actual
He's calling them out.
Mario Kart pros have been studying footage from that people took during the events and stuff. And there's a great example where a Bowser player is like just coming up to a banking turn, and he jumps. He like does a charge jump, jumps to a wall, jumps off the wall, and goes like so far ahead. So I think it's going to be the most tech heavy Mario Kart game to date. Because of all the agency they're giving
I've been really excited for a lot of it, like the jumping to dodge shells and stuff. Like, I think that gives you a lot of agency, because there's a lot of times I'm playing Mario Kart where I'm just getting clobbered left and right, and I'm like, I'm not engaging with the game right now because I'm just waiting for all these shells to finish hitting me, and then I'll start moving again.
I think my final point about the pros is that a lot of pros are upset that items seem like they are in general doing less damage to players. Like a shell, you recover a lot faster, and it pushes you forward a little bit. You don't lose all your momentum. Bullet bills just push people out of the way. They don't even hurt people anymore. So like items in general are becoming more forgiving, which encourages front running and is basically trying to kill bagging, because if you bagged with 24 racers and could just get to the front, that's dumb.
Right.
So I think most competitive players who are like in favor of items being more balanced, but I think some people want that brutality of like older Mario Kart.
Doesn't the meta change in every game?
Every single one.
So here's my thing. Whenever I hear of people complaining about the changes in these sort of iterative franchises, right? My point is, what's your problem? What is your problem? I've said that gamers are mentally disordered as a categorical judgment on all
to make our community feel closer to us.
However, even though that's my view, people who are on online forums complaining about this and saying like, I don't know why they don't just make Double Dash again. Buddy boy, it's easier than ever to play Double Dash online. Yeah. If you want to play Double Dash with a robust community of fellow Double Dashers, you can. Yeah. Okay.
Also, it's probably coming to the NSO pretty soon.
And it might be coming, with the GameCube games coming. So, but
just like Smash Bros.
No, Mario Kart's actually been coming to.
But my point is that there's gonna be meta changes, and it's gonna have a unique feel. And if you really are you got Mario Kart fever, then I'm sure you'll figure it out. And if you don't, guess what? They're all still there. You can still play.
And it's surprising to me how many people are like already throwing in the towel based on
I was shocked
never
to see
played
it.
That's I've
seen a few of them where like they were thinking like it's going to be a really bad Mario Kart, and I was like, while I was looking at some of the stuff they were saying about how things would work out, and a lot of them are like, oh yeah, because the middle range items are going to be so strong, the middle range items are so weak, and last place doesn't have enough rubber banding. It's just going to be shells and everything hitting everyone in the middle, and then first place is going to get out and never be seen again.
Right.
And I was like, well, I guess we'll see. But like
front running was always a thing in Mario Kart, like where if you're out in front, if you get enough of a lead, it's really easy to stay there because the only thing they can reach is blue shells and the shock. The night, if anything, what they've done is that like now the shock is an anti-first place thing, because imagine you're in second and you get a shock or you have a shock. If you use it, the guy in 12th also gets hit by a shock, and loses his item. Now only first gets hit by the shock. So like if anything, they've made it harder to front run, but they've encouraged front running. Because currently, some stages like Cheeseland, bagging is the tactic, like because of the item distribution in that stage.
Because like 9th is where the item you get the same 9th and 12th, so you get the same amount of items.
You might as well.
You get to 9th, you get a
some
really
idiot's
good
gonna on Cheeseland. Some idiot's gonna go up in first and think that he's winning. And I'm not joking. I've been in the rounds. Literally, all 11 other players are bagging. They're all sitting in the back, letting first go up. Because Cheeseland's so small and there's so many shortcuts that if you get a bullet bill or if you get a Starman, you can literally do the whole race in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So like you might as well just do that and go out in front of first. And so they're trying to kill bagging because it's not really the essence of the game.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about this whole discussion is that I don't know any of the words that you're using, and I haven't been able to follow
I'm worried a lot of people in the audience
I haven't been able to follow this conversation the last hour.
Okay.
I have no idea what any of you were talking about. We've
only been talking for 25 minutes.
Yeah. And you know what? It's gone by like a crawl.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm going to say...
And I have no idea.
I'm going to say you didn't go far enough.
Oh.
Yeah. You haven't been able to follow this conversation for the last 24 pod episodes.
That is actually a good point.
I'm going to say you didn't go far enough. You haven't been able to follow this conversation for the last 24 years.
I'm going to say I didn't go far enough. And in all past lives, I've been consistently confused. In every past life, I've been one consistent feature.
You've been reading that.
Well, let's confuse Quentin more. You know how we can do that, Ethan?
There's so many ways.
How do we do it?
We do it with topic of the week.
This dude takes literally months to catch up.
I know.
Topic of the week.
Months to catch up.
All right, Ethan, dip your meaty claw into the topic bag.
Oh.
Find it. Do it real dramatic for the... Well, you got a drum roll here. That was really... Yeah. Oh, there it was.
Good. I like that. I like that.
I don't like it.
Right,
it's like a claw machine.
Frightens me.
Yeah. Who's it from?
This is from Quentin.
Oh,
nice.
It's probably not about video games.
Oh, wait a minute. Is it from Quentin? Yes, it's from Quentin.
Yeah, the Q.
Guys, Ethan
I thought it was question.
Can't read.
Was it question or is it Quentin?
No, it's Quentin. Yeah. Rachel
Let's find out.
Just wrote Q.
Do limited resources make for more creative games?
Ooh, really good question.
To be clear, when I say limited resources, I don't mean heavy metals, because I know that, of course...
Right. Is lithium important?
Well, no, I meant, do you remember when the Xbox destroyed itself on thousands of consoles because they tried to fill it with lead?
Yeah.
Right?
That's not what you mean.
No, I don't mean the absence of lead in game.
Yeah, right.
I don't think that's what I'm talking about.
It's like, hey, because we all know that having lead in a game does
make it
more
better.
creative.
That is
you've got you've got like $100,000 and 24 months to make a game.
Yeah, I'm talking about development limitations.
Yeah.
And that can be time limitations, but that can also be budgetary limitations, staff limitations.
Yeah.
Really just...
Any kind of limit.
Yeah, just... you look at these games like the newest Spider-Man game, right? And they had $1 billion to make this game, right?
Yeah.
And a very generous time schedule, and so on and so forth. And they made something that I think not a lot of people, not nearly enough people purchased to pay off. Well, if you had made a much smaller scale game that didn't cost as much, you might have gotten the same amount of players and But does it improve to have limited resources to work with? It's a
fascinating question. Like, you guys know Mario?
I do know Mario.
Do you know Super Mario?
I know that one. I know.
Yeah. You know that guy? Yeah. This guy right here?
Oh, that's him.
That's him.
Oh,
I saw his.
I was wondering who that was. I thought that was John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah, no, I saw his face at the post office.
Yeah.
It said wanted.
It's just John Wayne.
I thought that was like formal attire Penguin Mario on your shirt.
It is, yeah. No, Penguin Mario is a real person who fills in for Quentin.
Yeah, I thought you had made it like
real conversation.
Honest to God, I just now realized that it wasn't Penguin Mario that Quin is here this time.
Yeah, they're pretty.
It's the mustache. Yeah. He changed his mustache to look like Penguin Mario, and they're almost indistinguishable.
He's even got some blue on.
Ever since I shaved the beard, me and Penguin Mario are very similar.
Very hard to tell
we also have the same talking points, and we should have known that we're on a video game podcast.
Yeah, I should. Neither of you want to be here.
No, but anyways,
him for very different reasons, though.
Yeah. To get off of this ridiculous tangent, Mario has like one of the most iconic designs of any character, and it was born from limitations. Think about that. Like, they literally in the original Donkey Kong were like, overalls make him look more. It's more dynamic because it has more detail than just like a red shirt and blue pants.
We need those big buttons because we have exactly 1 pixel.
Yeah, and then like his nose was like exaggerated to show that he had a nose.
Yeah,
he was given a mustache to highlight his nose.
Yeah,
he was given a hat so that it was clear. So just to make it very clear that
in art, the limitation of the medium is important. Is super important.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
but I think it made it better because there's a lot of characters from that era that were that drew the character first.
Yeah.
And then tried to just make a pixel representation of that drawing. Right? Quin's got something to say.
I don't actually have something to say.
No. And so translating that down, they're less well known.
Yeah.
They're not as iconic.
To learn like character art, or like design, artists will often put a lot of limitations on themselves, give themselves challenges, like ways of like especially like cartooning. You want to take like a limited amount of options and try to figure out the best way to reach them.
Right.
And that practice will eventually make you a better and better artist.
Like Imamura, we talked about him, the artist behind F-Zero and Star Fox and stuff. He talked about I forgot the art of subtraction, where he creates a character and then goes,
negative space.
What can I remove from this character without losing like the essence of what makes them what they are? And so that's why he has these character designs that are so clean and they're not overly simple, because he doesn't remove so much back that they like lose all of their like identity. But he also, at the same time, doesn't have characters that are so complex that they kind of lose their...
It's not quite something, but it's kind of funny, as I always think about how, the old cartoon show, The Fairly Odd Parents, right? Yeah. The character in it wears bright pink.
Yeah.
And that's because the artist who made it, like, he went for his blue marker and it was out of ink. And so he grabbed a pink one... Yeah. And filled it out. And the thing is, like, one of the higher ups at Nickelodeon at the time was like, yeah, we noticed it because it was pink. He's like, he points out that like the background was blue. It was meant to be kind of dreary. And then like the magic was supposed to have brighter colors. And, but he's like, there was nothing pink on the screen at all.
Yeah.
Nothing. But the pink really stood out in the sad time, and then like the magical time, it stands out in both.
Yeah.
And it's because he just ran out of blue.
Right.
And it's like sometimes those limitations of like, he could have reached for any other color, but he looked at his palettes, and without the obvious one of blue, he was like, actually, like pink is one that they don't use very often.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's my thought has always been in gaming is when have the fewer resources to work with, you are forced to ask bigger questions.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
So like
to get creative.
The Banner Saga is a great example of like when the company had no money when they were making the first one. They were building the combat engine, they were building stuff. There's originally an idea that it was going to have like all the cutscenes were going to be animated and stuff, and there was originally ideas of like, you know, these really dynamic character portraits and voice acting, and then they stopped and were like, you know what the really important thing is that it have like the Don Bluth looking animations for characters. Yeah. So they literally like, there's a bunch of videos of them like in their backyards with like towels for capes and wind machines doing reference shots. And one of the most interesting is just the main character taking like his hatchet, which is his melee weapon, throwing it into the ground, pulling his bow out, firing it, and picking his hatchet back up. They're just filming this over and over again so they can rotoscope over top of it and then draw all over the rotoscope and animate it, because they're like, we have so little budget for this.
Yeah, right.
This is the most important thing. And when you play the first Banner Saga, the writing is fantastic, the gameplay is really good, but the budget is all right there. Well, you know that if they had an extra $1, that's what they spent it on.
Well, and not to mention the Banner Saga is a perfect example of the budget going up and the quality going down. So, because that first Banner Saga
later games
is magic. Okay, that first game is just pure magic. The story is just phenomenal. All of it plays out great.
Kind of a passion project.
Kind of peters out. The story kind of peters out a little bit. But here's my point. Okay. Ukulele, that's an instrument.
Right.
A hat in time.
Cheaper to buy than a guitar.
That is an accessory. Okay?
In time.
I can buy a hat and a ukulele for about the same price on Amazon.com.
Okay. Right.
I can buy ukulele at launch for $60.
Right.
We're talking about the video game now.
Okay, right. It was $20 on the Kickstarter.
I didn't get the Kickstarter. I'm saying when it came out, I spent $60, $49.99, right? Relatively normal pricing, is that right?
Yeah, like $10, undercut by $10.
And the budget for that game was $1 million.
Yeah, the company got $3 million.
They kickstarted, $3 million.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
And
low for a game.
Then I think A Hat in Time was like 300,000. Their Kickstarter did pretty well. It got like 300,000 or something.
Their Kickstarter went over $1 million. 1.2.
Did it get $1 million? Okay.
Yeah.
So ukulele is about 3 times the money that A Hat in Time got.
Yeah.
And here's my thing. When you have a lot of resources, you have to make a choice. Am I going to focus on devoting a lot of our time to the visuals, a lot of our resources to the visuals, hiring more people to do visual work, or am I going to focus on, making sure that it has the tightest controls possible? This is a 3D platform, or what am I going to do, right? And the amazing thing is that ukulele did neither. Okay, the original ukulele feels horrible. It looks so bad and wet that I literally felt like throwing up the whole time. And to be clear, I completed ukulele.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't just play it for 5 minutes. I felt nauseated the whole time. It looked.
You did your due diligence.
It looked like Sonic Adventure DX. I mean, everyone was wet. It was disgusting.
I don't think it was that bad.
It was gross. Yeah. I hate the way that game looks. There's a little tonic you can get that does the like crunchy.
Makes it kind of
And when I got that, I enabled that. And that was better. But
the new lighting engine in Yuka Replayly looks.
I didn't play that because I was ethically, or I wasn't interested in playing it. I didn't know if it came out or not. I was not interested in it because I was ethically opposed to them selling me the same steaming pile again.
The game the point is changed, but A
Hat in Time comes out. And it is also absolutely the ugliest game.
It's not great looking.
In a different way is it ugly, but it's a very ugly game.
Unreal 3 had a really gross lighting.
However, that game plays so well.
It plays really good.
It's got such tight controls. It's so fun. It's got better level design.
Because Ukulele was developed in about 16 months, and A Hat in Time took 5 years. Yeah. So that's an interesting. That's what I was going to. Do you think the limitation of time was too much on ukulele?
But there's no limitation for time. Yeah. They have $3 million. They don't have to put it out in how many months did you say? 16.
I do think
you don't have to do a year to produce this game. If they wanted to stretch that $3 million to 2 years, they could have.
I think that the limitation, I think that brings up a really interesting point, because not every limitation is equal. Clearly, time is a thing that having a lot of is a benefit, but I do think that like money and manpower are not the assets people think that they are, because if you can throw money at a problem and fix it, people think that works, but ultimately every problem, and we can attest to this, like owning our own business, and that business involving a lot of like graphic design stuff, there are things that having more people and more money don't make go faster. They're going to take the same amount of time no matter what, and time is the all important factor. So having a lot of time, really good. Having a lot of money, sometimes that makes it feel like you can just shortcut your problems and you end up with a worse product.
But with the size of these projects, it just depends, because the thing is that if Breath of the Wild didn't have the development staff size that it did, and Tears of the Kingdom had an even bigger one, the length of time it would take to make that game would be really huge.
No, sometimes it's very necessary to have.
There is a minimum, right, amount of time that you're going to have to kind of put in, right?
But every great work of art, every great game, you hear the making of, and it sounds like it was a
disaster. Yeah,
it was an absolute disaster. Right. And like art, we've said this for a long time, like true art requires suffering. Right? The reason that like, you know, people go like, oh, why do the costumes in modern Star Wars look so bad, or Star Trek look so bad? And I was like, it's because before the actor who went to Juilliard for this had to sit in a chair for 16 hours and get slathered with all kinds of goop every day that they wanted to get 5 minutes of camera time. And now they've got advanced prosthetics that can go on in 5 minutes, and it's so much nicer for the actor, and they look terrible. So suffer. Suffering is required.
My point is that, you know, with the comparison of A Hat in Time and Ukulele,
they should have given them. They should not have limited themselves on that. That's a good example of a limitation that you should not put on yourself. Is they said like, if we get to this subscriber goal, we get to this funding goal, funding goal, we'll launch on this date. And then when they did that to themselves, they just were like, okay, we'll ship it because we said ship it. Well, and I think that's an example. So maybe that's a great example of a bad limitation. Don't put
like
the
time and money are directly correlated, because you got to pay the people salaries who are working on the game.
Right.
If that's their main full-time job, you have to pay their full salary. And if they're doing it on the side, then stretching it out, you know, like my main job, I have to make X amount of money every month, or they will kick me out of my home. But a side gig, if I make $50, I make $100, I make $200. That is a flexible amount of time. So if the developer for something like A Hat in Time, I don't know their situation, but if it wasn't their main thing, they can afford to stretch it out. But if something like Ukulele, if that $3 million is paying the salary of everyone who's working on it, then that does become a time crunch.
Well, the Hat in Time people are a bunch of nobodies, and the Ukulele are ex-Rare employees.
We actually ran into this because you mentioned that we, you know, did a graphic design company. We actually ran into a very interesting problem when it came to money and time. Was we were working with another team, and I don't know how analogous this is to working on a video game, but we were working with another team, and we had plenty of manpower and plenty of money. But the problem was we were working for a set of clients that had very specific things they wanted. So we would finish something that they wanted, when we would send it to them and be like, hey, to do the next step, we need to get your feedback on this, because we need to know what to do next, how to go forward. And then the client would take like a week to 2 weeks to get back to us. And it didn't matter that we had a team of like anywhere between 8 to 15 people at a time. We can't do literally anything. So with good game design, sometimes it's like, hey, we've designed these assets for the game. We've started to build the world. We need direction on what to put next, where to go next. What makes a good game, and what makes, you know, a platformer where like the jumping doesn't feel right.
Exactly.
What, like that's little tiny granular details, but those take time.
Yeah.
You have to coordinate between a bunch of different people. Do you have to coordinate between the person who's modeling and the person who's making the animations and the person who's building the map and then the person who's just in charge of all of that?
Right.
And that's a lot of coordination that there's just you can't throw money at.
Yeah, and
you have to take
and that's
your time.
that is the real thing. Is I don't think that you can throw money at so many integral parts of creating something that is so precisely what people want, and I also don't know that it's necessary to throw money at it a lot of the time because
it usually does nothing.
My point is
better to get creative and make something.
Well, what's that expression? Limitation is the birthplace of innovation. So like, So like, you have, or it's the birthplace of innovation or ingenuity or whatever.
Yeah,
is that like the reason that you come up with a solution is because you ran into a limitation. So you have to. We actually had a topic not too long ago about game scope and when does it get out of hand? Scope creep.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's like all my favorite games have very well defined limitations and barriers and stuff like that, which is why I think for some people, probably everybody in this room, for a while there, the term open world was like a trigger word.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where you would hear it and you'd go like, this game's going to suck. I'm not a Souls fan, but I was like sort of lamenting for my friends who are Souls fans when Elden Ring was announced to be open world.
Yeah,
because I was like, the first really bad Souls game. Like, and I turned out to be wrong because Elden from Soft
Miyazaki's just cooking over there.
Yeah, and From Soft is just really good at. But again, the thing we kind of underestimate with like Elden Ring, Breath of the Wild, that kind of stuff, is that now those like developers who are comfortable setting boundaries, their boundaries just bigger now, and now it includes
those are still games that have boundaries.
I mean, much smaller open worlds than a lot of other games
and also,
that exist.
With the technology now, you can make an open world. There's a million open world games on Steam. 10 years ago, the developmental burden of making a game open world, I'm sure, was absolutely
huge,
in orders of magnitude greater than what it is now.
Right.
But my point is, Toby Fox, whose profile picture is a dog, despite his name. Don't understand that. Why are you trying to confuse me, Toby? But the point is,
throw you off the trail, throw you off his scent.
Toby Fox. He sat around alone and he made the ugliest game ever made.
Mm-hmm.
He finally he got with some Twitter artist, I guess, and she did I don't know, they did some kind of art on some of the, I don't know, I think they just did sprite work or something.
I don't know.
But for the most part, I think most of the overworld and everything was probably him. It didn't cost him anything to plagiarize everything in that game.
No.
Yeah.
It didn't cost him anything. He did it for free.
Yeah.
How much is a copy of Mother 3?
How much is a copy of
Mother 3?
It's free. I played it for free. The point is that, he didn't have to have a huge development budget for his game. It doesn't look that great. People have said, "Oh, this music, it sounds a lot like music from tons of other things. It's almost like heavily sampled kind of thing." You can point out all these little things and say, "Ooh, this feels cheaper than something else," and I'm sure some people do. It's an incredible game. Absolutely phenomenal. People love it. I love it. It's such an experience playing that for the first time.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that when you're talking about these sort of very special experiences that we think about in video games, they don't necessarily have to be something that somebody threw tons of money at. I don't know that Undertale would be better if you threw tons of money at it.
I think it would objectively be worse.
The creative element from Toby Fox is what makes the game as good as it is, right? And the same goes for Hat in Time. I don't think that just throwing money at it matters. They had a development.
Maybe a little money on the graphics.
But here's my point, is that the graphics are ugly. The game is good.
Yeah, true.
If the game is good, then what is the problem?
You know what I think is the perfect example of this?
Yeah.
Is the Battlefront series. Star Wars Battlefront.
Sure.
Because the old Battlefront games had no budget. They were so broken constantly.
Sure. Yeah.
You'd like take off in an X-Wing and it would go like...
Yeah, LucasArts was in a weird spot.
It was dying. Like LucasArts was on its last leg when those games came out. And then the new Battlefronts came out and they have a massive budget for all of them.
To this
and
day,
those games
they're
are
some
gorgeous.
of the best looking
They're
video
gorgeous
games.
and they're not... unfun.
No, they're
fun games.
And once they updated the second one, it was better.
It was better.
They made some pretty big changes to the second one.
Battlefront was one of the most unique feeling games ever. To this day, it still feels really unique. Battlefront. Yeah. The EA's Battlefronts are pretty much just over the shoulder.
So, like, I thought about it. It was like one of the reasons that even now in Battlefront 2, the EA's Battlefront 2, you still pick up tokens and turn into a plane up in the sky, is because of a big budget that was like, well, we're going to make these look crazy good and we're going to put all this like work into detailing them, and then they're like, oh, landing them is going to cost a ridiculous amount of money now, creating the collision is going to cost a ridiculous amount of money, and they're like, because they've already put too much energy into this, so they're like, well, you'll just pick up a token and then you'll fly around. And
the menus and stuff were so
in the old Battlefronts, they were just like, hey, you're going to play as a Wampa.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why all of them
just do stuff.
Yeah, I don't know why all of them have a limp.
Yeah,
they all limp.
They all run really fun. They run like me.
They do.
They run like me. But this is the thing that I'll say about, because you're completely right with everything you just said. Here's the thing: is that
what are your? I'm curious. So what directly answer the question?
I'm going to say that limitations are a net positive. And the reason is that there is only so much that you can devote, right? To this project.
Right.
If you are a very smart developer, you are going to focus entirely on making the game either really fun to play or really well written, because the fact of the matter is that an ugly little game like Undertale is beloved by everyone. Well, no one cares that the main sprites don't look as good as other games.
Well, and the perfect game, I can't believe I didn't bring it up before now, but the perfect game to exemplify this is just come out. It's a game called Clair Obscure Expedition 33. It's the Frenchest game ever made.
So that's not real. Like it. You're trying to
but they it's a game made by the French.
Those aren't real.
About starring a bunch of Brits.
Those aren't real.
No,
I was just making stuff up.
It's currently, I believe, it's currently Metacritic's highest user score ever for a game. It's a Japanese role playing game.
What?
That's the other thing about it. They limited their production staff to 30 people, very intentionally, and they said they set that limit. I think it's like maybe like
keeps it more intimate.
And they kept it to 30 people. There were outside contractors for a couple of different things regarding development, but that was a limitation they imposed on themselves. And so imposing limits, they had, I'm sure, other limits like budgets. They're a very small studio, and it's a very big budget looking game. But imposing those limits clearly had an impact, because this game is, universally beloved and is being very positively received all around the place. And it's a game where the developers specifically put a limitation on themselves by being French.
It's actually,
that has got to be my least favorite handicap of all time, is being French.
Being French, yeah.
That's why I love indie games so much, Quinn. Is that it's literally the same reason. Is that their scope, they have limitations
because they have no other choice.
Well, again, if you have, I think all
of my favorite games would be defined as games that had some sort of, and if you're a Nintendo fan, Nintendo games are almost always defined by the limitations of the hardware. Space.
Perfect point.
The power of the console and stuff.
There is a very good point to be made around the limitations that one has to constrain themselves to under certain circumstances, and one of those is varying PC hardware. Because they want to have a minimum hardware requirement that is really as minimum as it can be, and
they used to.
That's getting a bit rough, but a lot of
games that don't,
and especially smaller developers are more conscious of the fact that But the point is historically this has been true, is they have to consider that, and that is a constraint.
Right.
We don't want just the highest end cards to play this, because how many people own a 4090 that are going to play your game? That's
you specifically pick that because you know it's a sore subject.
Yes, I'm sorry. But the point is that that's a constraint. You look at the console hardware. That's a constraint that has to be considered. I think about...
Nothing is without constraint, but I definitely think that the more limitations you put on yourself, as long as it's not time, give yourself time, but the more limitations, I think we all agree, it's probably for the best.
Limitations
I think about the
are not a bad thing.
Like the quote, Hideo Kojima, Metal Gear Solid, Bidenomics, right?
There you go.
The thing is that he said, when he was developing Metal Gear Solid 4, he said, I wish that I wasn't doing this. I would rather be making a new game for the Nintendo Wii.
Yeah.
And people have thrown that quote around, having fun making a new game for the Nintendo Wii. And most of us read that quote and we're like, let that man out of his cage, right? That is absolutely the most miserable quote ever. I can just picture he's alone at his office. He's in tears. He hasn't talked to his wife in 3 weeks.
Right.
The only physical affection he's experienced was from Masahiro Sakurai.
Yeah.
Right?
Came by and gave him a pat on the shoulder.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And
which for Japanese people is like a warm embrace.
Yes. He's crying with a Nintendo Wii remote in hand, right? And he's playing Wii bowling, and it is the saddest image you can picture. But here's the thing, though.
Yeah, take us home.
He is developing with a generous budget.
Right.
He's developing on an impressive console
at the time, like leading
high-end console. He's developing on all that, and he would rather be creative but have more limitations and make a new game on the Nintendo Wii. And
on an old ATI
with
sub HD,
cheap sub HD console, because
you have to make work with this.
You have to make work with the waggle,
right?
Because he understands that it isn't worth the suffering of creative constraint when you're trying to make not only an art form that people will enjoy, but something that truly expresses what the artist wants.
Right.
And so if you just throw money at him, Hideo Kojima's an expert. He can make the best looking, most technically impressive games in the world. Sure. But that's not the most important part.
No.
And so I say put more limitations because look at all these games where they don't have...
Let's shackle the developers to a radiator until they finish the game.
Well, look at all these games that don't have limitations.
And they're worse off for it.
Because
they needed more.
And I'll say also, one final point is just that I think anyone without limitations runs the risk of extreme unadulterated complacency. Right?
Oh, yeah.
A perspective loss.
A complete perspective loss.
Scope creep.
I think at a certain point,
it just gets out of hand.
If you gave me $1 billion, right? And
I wouldn't know what to do with it.
And you just dropped it in my bank account. Let me tell you something. I would lose touch with reality instantaneously.
Right?
I don't know about the plight of someone at that point who can't afford eggs.
Right.
Okay? My world has just changed.
Right.
And I think in terms of game development, if you're a game developer with 30 people on your staff and you've got $3 million in front of you and you go like, we might as well devote all our time just faffing about doing nothing.
If nothing's off the table, you end up with nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I also think that with bigger budgets, they sometimes feel like, well, our checks are already paid and we don't have to worry too much. We can have such a surplus.
The game can flop and you still got your money.
And you can have such a surplus potentially at the end of development that you have lower risk. For a lot of these more constrained developers, they have to create something that's really going to impress people.
It's true.
So good point.
Good topic, Quin.
Good topic. You did well.
Let's see here. I'm going to flood that topic
for
bag
once.
with
we do
so
have
many
to, we do have to wrap it up a little faster because of...
Yeah. Well, guys, that was good. Good topic.
Good topic.
We'll talk about what we want to see. All right, guys. So when you're watching this, I'll be at PAX. I'm going to PAX this year. Yep. So I want you guys to tell me something you want me to do at PAX.
No.
And then I'll make a series of shorts to see if I actually did your assignment. Ethan, give me your assignment.
I need a PAX food review. I need you to either you can have Rachel hold the camera, you can selfie stick it. I don't care. I need you to do like a hot dog review, a hamburger review. You know, it's an event with a bunch of people. I can't imagine that there's not vendors around there.
Oh, there.
You have to pick one, make a short Boston, about like this is what gamers eat. This is why we're all dying on fun like on our couch. You got to figure. I want a food review.
Food review.
A food review.
All right, that's what I'm going to do for Ethan.
Good. I want you to find a security guard. All right, find something that they're protecting, that they're keeping people out of.
Okay,
and see if you can rush it.
See if I can rush it.
See if you can get in there.
Okay.
See if you can rush the security guy down, get back there, and find out what they're hiding.
I really like that so far. None of them are video game related.
See what they're hiding. Right. No, I'm not gonna have you get shot by a security guard.
Right, okay.
We're gonna not do that. I want you to have fun.
Oh, great!
I just want you to have fun. I don't want you to have fun. I don't care about your fun. I don't care about your fun. I want you.
What is he gonna do?
No, yeah.
We're on number 3.
I'm struggling, and I want to do.
Do you want me to go to Quin?
Yeah.
You know
someone to shout out
get somebody famous to shout out our podcast.
Okay, I'll try.
A little bit famous. Bill Trennan.
Okay, the
he
game
will not be there.
that I haven't played, but I have a strong opinion about, is the Crash Bandicoot remakes.
The Insane Trilogy?
You know, the Insane Trilogy.
Right.
It's a remake. I don't know if you've heard about this. They released it a few years ago, I think.
I've heard a little bit about it.
A long time ago.
A couple months ago.
Almost 10 years ago.
It was like a week ago they released this new Crash Bandicoot.
Decades ago.
Twin Sanity.
I think you have played it.
I have not played it.
I think he's lying to us.
I've not played it. However, I have played Crash Bandicoot, which was... It was a different game. It was made... a long time ago.
Chris calls it Cash Banuka.
You know, you mention that every time I bring up.
I think that's a really funny way to say.
The point is that Crash Bandicoot. Well, that was old game. Do you remember?
Right, and it is game.
And it was game, and I enjoyed it. I played it a lot as a child. Do you remember? And you remember me as a child? I don't remember anything before the age of 22.
I miss it, kind of.
But the point is that sometimes in my nightmares I have flashes, of memories, and they are oftentimes
in your nightmares.
Video games.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Why old game, now new game, not good anymore?
Because new game.
New game. No. What? Why?
Now here's what's going to blow your mind.
What are you doing?
Cash Banuka 1, 2, and 3.
Cash Banuka. Right.
They are old game, which is game.
Kind of sounds like the mask.
In 2025,
right?
The Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is now old game.
What do you mean? So
it came out on an old console. It's old game now. So now it's an old game based on old games that were game, but does the old game cancel out game?
So at one point, Crash Bandicoot
game plus game equals what, Quentin?
So Crash Bandicoot in approximately 1997 was new game?
No. Well, it was back then, but now it's old game.
Right, but the point is that in 1997 it was new game?
Right, but what I'm saying is...
it was bad game.
I'm saying in 2025...
because it was new game. Here's the thing.
Time makes it...
the reason...
it's like wine.
No.
Yeah,
here's
it
the
ages.
Thing. No. You misunderstand.
Oh.
Wrap this up because you have to give me a PAX, something to do at PAX.
I sure don't. All games, because at one point they were new game.
Yeah. Right.
Bad game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot was game though, and I played it.
Yeah.
And I feel insulted when they do this to me.
Gotcha.
When they say, you know that game you liked? It wasn't actually good enough. We're going to change
We're going to make it in fur K. That's
Guess
what?
It's going to be weird, perverted, furry bait. Okay.
Correct.
It wasn't really.
It's going to be disgusting.
You're thinking of Spyro remake.
Spyro is going to be disgusting, scaly bait. That's my new pick. Spyro is game. I already,
you went to Reignited.
No, the reason is I can't say that because I already used Reignited Trilogy in one of my previously games.
Good, yeah.
Well, no, I already used it.
And you like it. Yeah.
I don't like it, and I haven't played it.
And you like it.
But
I heard it here.
But I already used it.
Editor Devin, take out anything he says now.
The point is that they insult me. They say it wasn't good enough. It doesn't look good enough. It doesn't play well enough. It's nope. it's actually garbage, that thing you liked. So this old game, we're going to pervert and make new game, okay? It's new game. It's like if you were in a historic home and they were like, wow, you know, that beautiful historic home, it's actually garbage. We're putting you in a Russian Soviet Union apartment complex with 25,000 other people. Get out of your house. We're tearing it down. We're putting McDonald's there, and you're going to live in the supply closet. Okay?
Dear.
Why are you doing this to me? What did I do? I didn't ask for it, and I'm the only person they should consider.
So Quin,
I really like your suggestion of what Devin should do at PAX, which was all about him getting a picture with a mascot of some kind.
Right.
That was a good suggestion.
Thanks, Quin.
Good.
Thanks.
Good
That's Quin's mission.
well done.
Yeah,
the best of them.
I'm gonna take your guys' missions. I'm gonna do them. I don't know what that weird rant was about.
I'm not
Cash
sure.
Manuka
And something else you should do at PAX.
Russia security guard.
Okay.
While you're at PAX, you should you should film a video where you say nice complimentary things about me, and it doesn't have to do with video games.
Okay.
2, you should I don't know, post a video in nature. Do they have nature in Boston?
I've never been. I don't know.
The only thing I know about Boston, never mind. The point is, some nature videos, like maybe a cute squirrel.
I'll see if Bill Burr's around.
Yeah,
he's from Boston, right? He's a Boston guy.
Probably.
Ben Affleck might be there.
Yeah.
So
that's why Stan Lee never comes anymore.
Let me tell you something. He came and he never came again.
See if you can't find a cigarette butt near a Dunkin' Donuts. Because it probably belongs to Ben Affleck.
That was Ben Affleck.
I won't have to walk very far. I won't have to walk. So yeah, guys.
All right,
have fun at PAX.
Keep an eye out. We'll be posting some stuff about PAX.
Okay.
Guys, if you're still here, if you survived all of Quentin's rants, you're a true one. You're a real one.
Yeah.
You're here. Thanks for being here.
Endurance stat.
Go down to the comments and leave.
Put a rainbow and a megaphone. To represent me ranting.
Yeah, rainbow megaphone.
Okay.
Rainbow megaphone.
I
like it.
I
like it.
Yeah.
Thanks
for being here, guys.
Yes, thank you.
All
See
right.
you next week.
See you next week.
Podcast.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye. Get out of here. We don't want you anymore.
Avant.